Tonight on Murrow News 8, COVID-19 is putting hospitals at the brink of collapse.
And were these stimulus checks enough money to support low-income families? Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jasmine Brown.
And I'm Lucy Pisano. Welcome to Murrow News 8. Brandon Chapman, a Pullman City Councilman, will host an online town meeting tonight. The meeting will start at 7 p.m. and discuss the coronavirus along with reopening businesses and health concerns. Here is the link to the meeting via Zoom if you would like to listen in.
A Spokane nonprofit has created ways to connect adults with disabilities to social interactions during the time of lockdown by taking some of their weekly events online. The nonprofit organization called Project ID has provided recreational outlets for adults with intellectual and developmentally disabilities to interact and engage its members online. Project ID now streams a weekly online Zumba class as well as a weekly Sunday church service to Facebook Live.
Local officials said that the new COVID-19 testing guidelines will be released after the state health department recalled thousands of test kits due to contamination discovered in some of the samples collected by the University of Washington. The contamination did not affect test results. However, County Official Health Officer Dr. Bob Lutz said the health district has ordered 150 testing kits from the state health department in the meantime to help local long-term care facilities test residents and staff members as needed.
COVID-19 has put rural hospitals in eastern Washington on the brink of financial collapse. The Spokesman Review reported that rural hospital systems have boosted COVID-19 responses and protections while losing major revenue streams from other kinds of care. Chief Executive Officer of Three Rivers Hospital, Scott Graham, said that rural hospitals don't have any debts in terms of reserves to be able to fund what's going on at the hospital for much longer. I know the COVID-19 lockdown and outbreak has affected myself in many ways, both physically, mentally, and definitely financially. And I know I'm not the only one. I'll toss it over to Carmen. I know you have some information on how the community and others are dealing with that as well. Carmen?
Yeah, thanks, Jasmine. This pandemic is obviously having a massive toll on economies of every size, but it can be easy to forget about small businesses and low-income families whose lives are really feeling the brunt of the stay-at-home order. I am in Everett, Washington, where the average annual income is under $26,000 a year. And these individuals and families receive stimulus checks, but was a one-time payment of maybe only $1,200 enough to sustain a low-income household? One woman says that check really only scratches the surface on the financial needs of so many.
On March 25th, the Senate approved a $2 trillion deal to send checks to Americans in this time of need. CNN reported it would take up to 3 weeks for the money to actually be in a pocket. This week, many Americans have seen a stimulus balance hit their bank account. But how did the Senate decide on these amounts, and more importantly, is it enough? Let's take a look at the most basic points. Individuals making less than $75,000 a year get $1,200, and there is an additional $500 distribution for every dependent under the age of 17. Marsha Poishbeg is a single mother in Everett, Washington.
I mean, you gotta pay for all the things, daycare, car, like you said, rent, like I basically use that check to catch up on my bills. I'm missing out on 2 paychecks. A one-time amount of money is not enough. Like, it's a nice little help or like a little bit of a breather, but in a couple weeks you're gonna need $1,700 more because you've paid all your bills and you're keeping up on all the things you need to support your family.
As for the possibility of another stimulus check, the New York Times reported talks of additional payments if necessary. Nothing has been confirmed. In Everett for Murrow News 8, I'm Carmen Ditto.
Back to you, Jasmine.
Thanks for that, Carmen. According to Pullman Radio, a new case of coronavirus has been confirmed in Lathrop County. There have been now a total of 4 cases of coronavirus within the county.
The spokesman review has announced that longtime nurse at Eastern State Hospital has died of COVID-19. Ezekiel Cisneros died on the night of April 13th. Cisneros worked at the psychiatric facility in Medical Lake. He was 64 years old.
Pullman Radio reports University of Idaho researchers are now working to identify a cure for the coronavirus. A team at the university's Department of Biological Sciences expect to finish the preliminary tests within a year.
Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward says she is now considering a regional reopening before the state opens as a whole. The announcement was made on Friday via Twitter. Woodward said she is pushing for a regional and slow approach to the the economy during the conversations with Inslee, while emphasizing that Spokane is drastically different than Western Washington. Some big news today in the sports world. We have Asher lined in Great Falls, Montana to talk about what's happened today. Asher?
Thanks, Lucy. One of the biggest sports headlines we've seen in the last few weeks, Rob Gronkowski is unretiring and coming back to play in the NFL. But not only that, he'll be reuniting with his quarterback in Tampa Bay. It's worth noting there was a trade in place 2 years ago to send Gronk to the Lions right before the draft, but it didn't work out because he said he wanted to play with only one quarterback, and that's Tom Brady. Now, an official trade was made earlier today that gave Gronk a 7th-round pick in this week's draft to the Buccaneers and sent a 4th-round pick to the Patriots. Gronk passed his physical earlier today, so he is officially, a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He currently has 1 year and $10 million left on his contract. Now, if we move up the eastern seaboard to the Big Apple, news is broken that Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez are in the process to raise capital for a bid to buy the New York Mets. They tried to make a deal last year, but it fell through, although Mets owners Steve and Jeff Wilson have been looking for a buyer for some time. If A-Rod succeeds, he'll be the second former All-Star and Yankee to own a team, the other being Derek Jeter, who is a part owner of the Miami Marlins. That's a look at sports. Some big moves going forward, but Lucy, it sounds like some states are also making big moves for the near future.
Thanks so much, Asher. Yeah, fans are really going to be excited about Gronk getting back on the field, but a few southern states are looking to reopen and move away from COVID-19 social restrictions. CNN reports that Georgia and South Carolina announced they'll ease restriction this week, even though neither state met with the White House recommendations of a 2-week declining trend. Though these lists will be statewide changes, some mayors are urging that residents to stay at home and continue social distancing.
The Scripps National Spelling Bee has been canceled for the first time since World War II. U.S. News reports that the organizers concluded there was no clear path to safety to set a new date in 2020. The first Scripps Bee was held in 1925 and has been televised on ESPN since 1994.
The death toll of a mass shooting in Nova Scotia is now up to 23, according to CBC. The count includes the shooter who went on a rampage that crossed 5 towns, 100 kilometers, and resulted in 16 crime scenes. The shooter was wearing an authentic Royal Canadian Mounted Police uniform and was driving a replica RCMP vehicle. And now we have Jane McDonald with our weather today. Jane, how is the weather looking in Pullman this week?
Hey, Lucy. Well, it's hard to compete with last week's weather, so we may need to get used to this. Clouds. And that goes for the whole state. It was sunny. It was warm. I even got a sunburn. And this week, I'm pretty confident I won't get burned. No promises. But this week may not have the warm weather that we were used to. But we'll get into that soon. Let's focus on today. Today was beautiful, but windy. Look at that, 18-mile-an-hour winds coming from the southwest. Luckily, there was some warm temperatures to balance it out and plenty of daylight to enjoy it. Tomorrow will be a little colder than it was today, but it won't be nearly as windy, so in my opinion, seems like a pretty fair trade until we get into the rain. Yes, it's nearly guaranteed that it will rain tomorrow. We're looking at about a 90% chance, so before you go outside, maybe take a peek out the window and grab a coat. Statewide, there's actually going to be a pretty big difference. Just look at how the weather changes from Seattle to Yakima. Seattle, Olympia, they'll all hang around the upper 50s, and I can attest to that. It's actually a bit warmer down in Puyallup, but the clouds are blocking a lot of that heat that you're seeing in Yakima and Tri-Cities because they are soaking up all the sunshine. I mean, 71 in Yakima, 74 in Tri-Cities. But it's worth noting that the Tri-Cities actually had some dust storms working its way towards the area, and it'll actually last throughout the night. Closer towards home, Spokane got a little bit of sunshine and warmer weather. We already touched a little bit on Pullman's forecast, so let's see it extended in the 5-day. And you'll notice it's very different compared to last week. The only sun we'll be getting will be Friday and Sunday. Other than that, be prepared for some cooler temperatures and some rain showers. It's kind of strange to see the lows dip back into the 30s, but it is spring and we all got to roll with some chilly temperatures. Lucy, I wish you were still in Washington enjoying a little bit of the sunshine, but I actually looked and Alameda is experiencing some similar temperatures around the 60s, minus the rain, of course, so at least you can still feel like you're in Pullman. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Dane. Yeah, right now we're having blue skies, kind of in that 60 range, but it's supposed to heat up this weekend, so I'm excited for some more sun. Back to Pullman. So according to the Pullman radio, Oak on Main in downtown, Pullman's Feeding Our Friends Free Meal Tuesdays started at 4 and goes until 6 p.m. tonight. The meal is champagne chicken, rice, bread, and salad, so make sure to check that out.
According to Pullman Radio, Dismore's grocery store in Pullman is teaming up with the College Hill Association and the Community Action Center to provide free gift cards for those in need. Over $120 Dismore gift cards will be distributed by clients and student food banks in Pullman starting Tuesday. Well, that's all for us tonight here on Murrow News 8.
You can now watch us live on YouTube every day at 5:30.
News content can still be found at nwpb.org/MN8, and don't forget to follow us on social media.
Have a good night, everyone. Stay home and stay healthy.